Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the Mashed Potatoes and Gravy podcast, minus the gravy because he is busy.
Yeah, gravy's dead to us, really.
Yeah, pretty much. So I did consider renaming this podcast to the Steak and Mashed Potatoes podcast. So
Do I get to be the steak?
I mean, you could. I was just thinking it'd be, a more normal, well-balanced meal rather than just mashed potatoes itself, because this is an all-around family-friendly and nutritious podcast, of course.
Yeah. Maybe some peas in there as well.
Yeah, throw some peas in.
And a little bit of tomato, some onion, keep your heart healthy.
Yeah.
All that.
Who doesn't like onions? Except me.
Well, you're an insane person, so.
This is very true. So, what have you been watching and or playing and or reading recently, Noodle?
Well, watching, Miranda and I have been watching the Idiot Abroad series. I may have brought that up last time.
Yeah.
Still just watching that. Also, the new season of Trailer Park Boys is out.
Oh, dear.
Which is, the newer seasons, they're good enough to keep me watching, but they're almost a little bit depressing because all the characters, like, the people themselves are so much older, and it's a little bit sad. But this newest season has been real good. It's better than the last season, so.
Nice.
Good stuff. Playing, Shovel Knight. Been playing through that again. Otherwise, not much else. And fucking RuneScape because I'm an idiot. So
I remember playing that way back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
When it was a browser-based game. Is it still a browser-based game?
No, it's its own thing. I'm playing like original RuneScape.
Oh.
So it is like exactly what we used to play. And I know people will say it's not good, but man, I have fun with it. I was playing it for a long time back in like August of last year, and now I'm getting back into it again. And yeah, I enjoy it. It's fun.
Do you still have to have a paid membership to unlock the rest of the game?
No, it's all free.
Oh, nice.
At least as far as I can tell.
When I played it back in like middle school, you had to like pay to get a membership, so I got literally as far as I could on the free version. And then I had like couldn't go any further, and I didn't want to pay for a membership because I didn't have my own money at that point. So I wound up like in the hub for days on end, just begging somebody to go get me a set of black scimitars. And finally somebody did, and that was around the same time I quit playing the game, because once I got the black scimitars, I had no reason to continue because I'd done everything.
Well, there's still more to it, but it's an MMO. There's always more things to do. But yeah, I attempted EverQuest, but my shitty computer did its thing where it just stops. So
man, you got to be careful with that game. That's a pit you can fall into, from what I understand.
I wanted to fall into the pit, but
like, there was that fucking comic
wouldn't let me
back in the day. I don't remember what it was
Control
called.
Alt Delete.
Oh, was it? Is that
Yep.
it? Yeah, and the guy like ended up
Ethan,
in a flop house with a bunch of homeless people that just had computers and they were playing EverQuest. Oh, silly.
Yeah, that's a good comic. I like it. There's the whole meme where like his girlfriend lost their baby, like it not lost, like she was still carrying it, and it had a miscarriage or whatever.
Yeah.
There was a meme about that making fun of it, but that comic is good. It, like, looking back at it now, like, probably, like, a year ago, I read through it all again, and I still enjoyed it. Like, it has this stuff that, like, back in 2007, 2008, I was like, oh, this is a gaming thing, and I really like this. And now looking back at it, it can be a little cringy, but, like, at the same time, I'm like, for the time, like, this was cool.
Yeah.
Same with, another thing I've been watching, The Guild.
Right, yes.
Yeah, I've been watching through that, and that has the same sort of thing where, like, they'll just say, like, OMG and stuff like that. or just like general computer, I don't know, I guess terms
that people really don't use anymore.
Yeah.
At least not the people that I hang out with don't use it anymore.
Well, like, it'd be cringy as fuck to say that shit nowadays.
Yeah.
But it's still entertaining to me. So, I don't know. It's I like watching it. So, everybody else can fuck off because I like what I like and
I need
suck
to
my
go
dick.
read Control Alt Delete again. The ones that have stuck in my head over the years were the 12 Days of Gamer Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And the one where
What did he call it?
like the 12, I don't remember. Google it real quick.
Yeah.
That one, and the one where the other guy tried to get Ethan to play Warhammer 40K with him. He's like, so where's the where's the controller? He's like, you don't use them. You move the things by hand. He's like, oh well, that's dumb. And then the guy just says like, yeah, well, these guys have chainsaw swords. And Ethan's like, oh shit, let's get this stuff going so my little dudes can chainsaw your little dudes. And then, like, when the guy's not looking, Ethan, like, rips open a packet of ketchup and just dumps it all over the other guy's models. He's like, yeah, your guys caught demon herpes. You know, that you should have kept him out of the chaos brothel.
Yeah, it was Lucas. That's the name of the other guy.
Lucas. I found a silly fucking webcomic.
Oh, Winterine Mist.
Winterine Mist,
Yeah.
that was it. But I found a silly, I think it's a Canadian comic called Menage a Trois, which it starts out like this nerd artist guy is like trying to find new roommates, and it's very sexualized because I guess Canada is not as uptight about that kind of shit. So like his two roommates, which are gay, are moving out after they broke his drawing table banging on it. And they're like, yeah, but as a parting present, we got you a newer, sturdier drawing table. And he's like, oh man, thanks guys, that's really nice. And they're like, oh yeah, we tested it to make sure it wouldn't break. And then you just see him like quietly crying in the corner. And he moves in with like this ridiculously busty and beautiful French chick and like a goth rocker chick, and things just devolve from there. But the reason I found this comic was when I was down in Oregon a couple of Christmases ago visiting family, I picked up this graphic novel called Archie vs. Predator, which is one of the funniest fucking things I've ever read. And the artist who does that webcomic, Menage a Trois, did the art for the Archie vs. Predator graphic novel. I'm like, oh, well, this is actually good, and I'll go check out this other webcomic. It's definitely not safe for work, and it's definitely not child-friendly, but it's worth a read if you want to laugh at things that Americans are uptight about.
Well, we're sat in my room again for the first time in a while.
Yeah.
Doing this. My room is, I mean, I wouldn't say it's presentable.
No.
Not at all. But it's getting there.
It looks like my half of my bedroom at home.
There's
just stuff everywhere.
Yeah, there's still plenty. It's mainly just laundry at this point, and then some dishes.
Yeah.
So I need to do the dishes and do some laundry, and then this. And Stu's gonna help me put up the shelves again, like we had in the other room.
Nice.
And so I can set all that up again, and it'll be neat. We'll be on the way to a cool room, even though I never sleep in here because I always sleep in Miranda's room.
Yeah.
But you know, it'll still be nice to have it. It'll be nice to have it clean, proper clean. Like this feels like clean to me.
Yeah.
And this isn't fucking clean at all. So it's just open and needs to be vacuumed and is sad. But
yeah, I tried to convince my wife that my half of our room is clean, but she's like, you have books and weapons and stuff scattered all over your part of the room. And I'm like, well, that's because I like knowing where everything is, and if everything is on the floor next to my bed, I know exactly where to look for something.
yeah.
Because, like, I have shelves on my half of the room, but they are, like, packed to bursting with books and models, so I can't really put anything there. Like, I have a Jaina Solo statue and a model Gundam Heavy Arms sitting on the shelf right next to my bed because I'm a fucking nerd like that. And she's like, why don't you just move those? I'm like, well, if I move them, they're not going to be right there.
Yeah.
Just
if I move them, they will not continue to be where they are.
Yeah, and
so,
I like them where they
dumbass.
are. I mean, whenever I wake up grumpy, I can just roll over and, see Jaina Solo and the Gundam standing there and be like, yeah.
Hello, friends.
Yeah, everything's all right. It's like that meme I saw the other day. I might have it on my iPad, but it's like, whenever I think the world is unfair, I just remember that Nicolas Cage has a metalhead son. And his son actually looks like Nathan Explosion from fucking Death Clock. And it's just like, oh, okay, that's good. I like that. Maybe there is a bit of brightness in the world.
I'm really sad because I had the funniest dream the other night. And I can't remember it. I'm really mad at myself because I woke up from the dream and I was like, I need to remember this. This dream is fucking hilarious. Like, I'm real mad I can't remember it. So that's about it. That's my story. I'm sad about my funny dream I had that is gone to the ether.
Yeah, the only dreams I remember are like the ones that scare me. Like a couple of weeks back, I had a nightmare about getting that fucking like 7,500 piece Millennium Falcon Lego set, and in my dream I lost one of the packets that the things come in, and I couldn't find it. I was like, I'm never gonna complete this thing. It's not gonna have its little satellite dish.
That's sad.
Yeah, I don't actually have that, and I'm kind of glad I don't, because I'm not sure I'd have the patience to put a 7,500 piece Lego thing together.
You would if they're in packets.
Yeah.
See the Death Star over there in the corner? In the fucking laundry basket because it got broke?
Yep.
Fucking... It's so maddening to try and sort those pieces and put it back together. Because I was trying to, and I fucked something up. So I just broke it again. And I was like, I'm going to have to start from scratch. But then I haven't. Because in the packets, like, you at least have some semblance of order.
Yeah.
Whereas, where they're all just mixed up together, it's like, where the fuck is this one fucking piece I need? God damn it. I fucking hate everything. I'll fucking put Jesus on a cross. I'll fucking nail his fucking hands in there. Fuck him. It's his fault. It's probably his fault. It's not mine. It's everybody else's except for mine. So, fuck everything.
Yeah. That Gundam Heavy Arms I mentioned was like, I think it was a 150 piece model, and it was the little, like, those models come in those like little square frameworks, and you have to like break them out.
Yeah.
And that tested my patience, because breaking those things out without breaking them, I like worked my fucking fingertips raw to put this thing together. And then I looked back at the box, and it had like a bunch of stickers for like the little stripy accents on it, and just like, fuck it, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, I would gladly, like, when I was first putting together the Death Star, it was very, like, therapeutic in a sense. It was like, here's this, I'll put this on. Oh, look, it all worked out. Ah, fuck, I fucked it. But, okay, I can fix this. And it's very therapeutic, as opposed to, like, I watched my buddy Jake putting together a Gundam model, and it just seemed like hell. Because he gets so anal about it, like, snipping everything perfectly, and, like, he'll get the ones that have, like, electricity to them, whether they'll light up and everything. Nice. And it's really cool once you got them together, but, like, I'm watching him do it, and I would never have the patience for that.
Yeah.
Legos are simple. I can just put it together. It's kind of like doing a puzzle.
Yeah. When I was playing Warhammer 40k, I got a small rabble of orcs, and I've seen how nuts people can go painting these fucking things.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, once I got them all, like, glued onto their little bases and shit like that, I'm like, all right. And then I, like, look over at my paint set, and I'm like, oh, boy. So I just decided, fuck it. I put them all back in the box and just spray painted them green. And then, like, added, like, tiny little accents for, like, the eyes, like a base coat for their like brown leather coating, and like a little gold paint for their bullets. And I'm just like, that's all I'm doing. They look like shit, but at least they have some bit of color on them, and they're not just base orc green.
Yeah.
But the guy I was playing with at the time, good old Grant, Like, he had a full desk set up with, like, little magnifying glasses and, like, a bajillion different paintbrushes, and I'm like, just... like, martial arts ruined my steady-handedness. I can't go in for those tiny little details. And it just...
I can see how that sort of thing is also, like, nice to do.
If you've got the patience and the steady hands for it, but...
The patience, the steady hands, and the artisticness.
Yeah.
Because I'm shit at any sort of art, so I wouldn't be able to paint them well. They'd end up looking like shit. I'd end up doing what you did. But I probably wouldn't end up doing what you did because I'd want to do it right. And so if I was gonna do it, I'd want to do it right. Yeah. So they'd end up just sat on paint there, and that would be that. I wouldn't get mad enough to just spray paint them.
I mean, that's not a bad move, especially for something like orcs who are predominantly green, and then you just add the shit on top of that green.
Yeah.
But if you're going for, like, fucking Chaos Marines or Eldar, which normally have a lot of different color on them, like, the models he had like, a red and gold color scheme, and because they're fucking Space Marines, they have all kinds of little ornamentation all over their armor, which orcs don't. But it's like, oh god, I couldn't to that point. Like, I'd hit him with the red base coat and then be like, yeah, alright, that doesn't look... Give me the fucking magnifying glass. I gotta put the gold on their little armor symbols and shit. And it's just, make me so mad. And I'm gonna have to do it again soon because, big announcement, niceness. Me and my wife are planning on having a kid. Yay. Just see how fucking excited I am about that. But she's like...
I can't wait until your kid hears this.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I'll make sure to save this podcast just to show your kid.
You are gonna...
When he is, like, 15.
Yeah.
Just look how excited your dad was to have you.
just don't tell my wife about it, because she wants to raise the kid right, and like, he can't watch like rated R movies until he's at least 16, and I'm just like, me and Uncle Evan are gonna show him like Creep and Predator and stuff when he's 10, right? You can't stop us. You're gonna have to go to work eventually.
Yeah.
So, yeah, fun stuff there. But she's like, yeah, in celebration, I'll, like, get you something nice. And I was getting back in the Gundam, which I have dove headfirst into again. And she's like, yeah, I'll get you a Gundam model to, make you happy about it. And I'm like, all right, fucking, god damn it, I'm going to have to put it together. Oh, fuck. But, yeah, speaking of Gundam, I think I said it last time, if you're going to get into Gundam, you're gonna have to watch the original series to appreciate how far it's come as a franchise.
Yeah.
Because even with the modern redub, I fired up and watched, like, the first 5 episodes, and even with the modern redub and better localization, god, the animation and the fucking original music, oh boy, is it... I don't want to call it bad, but it has aged, man.
But it's not good.
Yeah, it was good for its time, and it's worth it because it actually tells a really good story, but just seeing that animation and that opening and closing music, it's like, yeah, you can tell this is like late 70s. Oi. But anyway, what I was trying to segue into, there's a new Gundam game coming out in June, I think, called New Gundam Breakers. And it's actually all about Gundam models. It's apparently like a whole franchise over in Japan. Like, it's the story of people building these Gundam models and then, like, remote controlling them and, like, having them fight in little arenas, and you, like, loot your defeated opponents for parts so you can, like, have a Gundam body and then, like, stick a shitty Zaku head on top of it. It allows you to custom build your own shit, but this one actually has a plot, and it's Gundam brawling plus high school dating drama. Oh, man, does it sound fucking awesome.
That
like
sounds ridiculous.
Yeah.
Is what it sounds like to me.
Like, I've seen the gameplay, and it's actually very reminiscent of, like, Dynasty Warriors Gundam, where you just brawl and just mass murder other Gundams and mobile suits, and it's like, yeah, and you can also, like, build up a bond level with one of the heroines in the game, and you can like start dating her, and I'm like, yes, Gundam plus bad anime dating game. I'm on board. I want it. Fuck yeah.
Ought to be funny at least.
Oh yeah, I am definitely doing a let's play when that game comes out. Probably with you, so we can make fun of the high school drama the entire time.
Or get really, really into the high school dating drama.
Oh yeah, like I've seen pictures of the people you can apparently woo in this game, and I'm like, yeah, the tiny little girl with the glasses, that's the one.
Shit.
Fuck the busty, like, you know, track star.
Shinichi and Nyan Dogo, and they get together, and their Gundams get together.
Oh yeah, and then
have some Gundam sex.
You
better have Gundam sex. If it doesn't have Gundam sex, what's the point?
Well, it's probably gonna have Gundam sex in the sense that you have to defeat them to woo them. So I will like take their Gundam head and like stick it, like their girly Gundam head, and stick it on like my ridiculously butch and gun covered Gundam body.
Yeah, just a pink head on your shoulder.
Yeah, and it's gonna be fucking great. I can't wait. That's a secret like pleasure of mine, is watching these ridiculous dating sims that like Jesse Cox and other YouTubers do, and just seeing how bad it is. It's I don't know why I enjoy it. I really don't. There's not going to be
Well, it's because they're all so fucking silly.
Yeah.
And ridiculous. Like, dating sims in general are just fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Silly. Like, and sad. Like, because you know there's people out there who are like, oh, my... Like, it's the same as those, like, full-body pillows that have a fucking anime girl on them.
Yeah.
Like...
Those...
It's similar to that because, you know, they treat it the same way.
Yeah. I actually read a book series, which I think you would enjoy. It's the Nemesis series, not Resident Evil. It's
Yay.
It's like a it's meant to be a kaiju movie or story. Basically, it's American gigantic monsters fighting each other. And every now and then, you get, like, a little snippet from another character that is not overall important to the story. You just, like, see them reacting to, like, their city getting destroyed by giant monsters. And they go over to Japan at one point, and you get the point of view of this really weird Japanese guy. Like, he never leaves his house, he works from home, and he keeps... like, making allusions to this girl that he met that at a convention that just makes him happy whenever he's feeling depressed because he never leaves his house and, like, doesn't have any friends. And then, right before he dies, he finally admits to himself that this girl is just a fucking anime body pillow. And it's like, oh, dude, you... No offense, man, but you might be the very dregs of humanity. And then you died.
It's real sad that... like, that there are people out there that have to stoop to that.
Yeah.
Like, because, you know, in Japan, it's like an epidemic. Like, because there aren't that many girls, because all the parents wanted boys. The boys greatly outnumber the girls. It's kind of like up here.
Yeah, it's a culture thing, I think.
Yeah, they want a son.
Yeah.
And so these poor... dudes just have nothing, and you know, I can't, like, I almost can't blame them for going that route. Like, I mean, you're being weird, but you at least got a reason for being weird.
Yeah.
Like, there's not enough chicks to go around, and you know, you see that up here all the time, and then you, like, so say me and Miranda break up. And I'm like 40, I'm going the buy an Asian route. like I would.
Yeah.
Because if you're 40 up here as a dude, it doesn't matter how good looking you are or anything. There's always going to be a younger dude who works on the slope that the chicks... like, I see it all the time. These fucking sewer mutants with just a hot chick. And it's like, what the fuck? Oh, he must work on the slope. That's always the answer. Every single time. Like, when I see it, and, like, I'll be walking by, and I'm like, what the fuck is... do you guys need help with anything? And they're like, yeah, we're looking for this and whatever. And it's like, oh, okay, they're obviously together. And I'll be like, hey, what do you do for a living? And they'll be like, oh, I work on the slope doing blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, yep, that's the answer.
Fair enough. You have lots of money.
All these gold digging chicks up here looking for a slope worker. Luckily, I got one who's amazing, and I hope she never leaves me. But...
And no offense to sewer mutants out there. Like, I know a few who are actually genuinely good people and deserve a decent chick, but just... There are as many not great people that there is great people.
Yeah.
And also, we have nothing against body pillows. Just saying. Like...
I mean, go for it.
I mean, not an...
Do what you're gonna do.
Like I have a body pillow. It's not an anime body pillow, but like.
Well, a body pillow, just like something to.
Yeah.
Go
I mean,
but when it's an anime waifu body pillow, that's where I'm like,
yeah. Yeah, but because me and my wife have a probably unhealthy obsession with cute Pokemons, I have like 4 of these gigantic Eevee evolution stuff things,
I've seen them.
And like. I will sleep with one of those occasionally because I have chronic back problems. Sometimes it literally just hurts me to lay on my back. But if I sleep on my stomach, my face goes into my pillow and I suffocate in the middle of the night and die. So I'll just like reach over to the side of the bed.
I'm not sure that's true.
Probably not. But but I'll like grab this thing and just like and just pass out on it. And my wife's taking a few pictures of me. Just the best one was apparently like. The Eevee got turned around, so I had its tail like under my head, and my face was just like up this Eevee's.
If there's anything, like, if it's got an anime chick with her tits out and stuff on it, you're probably going to. Well, I mean, especially if you're married, then yeah, you're probably going too far.
Yeah.
But I mean, just a body pillow, like those are nice, like because. Miranda will snuggle up to me all the time, and it's just too hot. Like, it's like, yeah, I want to snuggle, but fuck, it's too hot in here. Like, get the fuck off me. And so, like, yeah, having a pillow. I used to have a big one. It was just a big tan pillow, and I'd snuggle with that thing all the time.
Yeah.
But it didn't have
It didn't have tits on it, you know?
Yeah. Didn't have tits, it didn't have a face, it was just a big tan pillow, and it was nice, and so yeah.
And those gigantic Eevees are comfy as shit, by the way.
Yeah, and I don't, as long as it's not a person or like a, what is it, anthropomorph,
like cat. Women with cat ears and shit, or
or like a dog that's a human anthropomorphized.
The other end of the spectrum from like the cat girls and shit.
Basically furry shit.
Yeah, furry shit.
Like as long as it's not in that realm. Like if you just have a pillow that has an Eevee on it, there's nothing wrong with that. Like that's fine. It's when you take the time to buy. Well, it wouldn't take much time. You'd probably just click on the internet. But when you buy that shit and you're snuggling with it because it's your waifu, and you're like also fucking it.
Yeah, that's.
You put a little hole in it so you can fuck the fluffing.
Yeah, that's weird.
Starts to stink, probably.
And that also just sounds uncomfortable depending on the stuffing. It's like rubbing your dick all over like.
I mean,
rough wool.
Normal stuffing, I wouldn't think would be too bad.
I don't know. I think it all.
But then again, I haven't tried it.
Yeah, we haven't.
Don't knock it until you try it, man.
You know, people have said that before, and then I see what they're talking about, and it's just like, yeah, you know.
Meth. Don't knock it until you try it.
I mean, I did try it, and I guess I'm glad I did, just to understand how horrible the after effects are, because. Yeah. Man, that those 3 days I spent awake on speed. Man, sleeping 24 hours and then waking up totally dehydrated. Ugh, man. Not worth it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why people keep going back for it. It's like...
Because they get addicted. I mean, that's why.
I suppose, yeah.
Yeah, I've done pretty much every drug, but, like, heroin, meth, and smoking crack. Nope. None of those. I just will never do them because I'm a very, like, addictive person. Like, I feel like I easily get addicted to things.
Yeah, you go down that slippery slope.
Like, you know, anything. Like, sex, I'm fucking smoking a cigarette right now, drinking, whatever. I get it. I'm just like, this is great. Why don't I keep doing it? So I just won't do any of those because I feel like I'd do them and then just be like, this is amazing. I'm just going to keep doing this forever. And don't want to do that with any of those drugs.
Yeah, addiction is a horrible thing.
Yeah. It can be. Like, I don't feel like smokes are that bad, but, you know.
I mean, they can...
They are bad,
yeah,
but...
they can be, but it
they're
takes...
the least of addiction.
Yeah,
like,
it takes a lot to...
But there's also people who get addicted to, like, caffeine and shit, like coffee and everything like that.
Cheers,
and,
mate.
Yeah. So there's that, and while that isn't as bad because you probably aren't gonna drink a Rockstar and go break into your friend's house and steal his TV to sell it.
Yeah, no, I've seen, like, I worked with a guy who had a very bad reaction to energy drinks. Like, when he was working at the shop, he would, like, he kept himself going with, like, those 4-hour power energy shots.
The 5-hour energy.
Yeah, those
ones.
things. He would, like, drink 3 or 4 of those a day.
Jesus.
Every day. Because, I mean, we had
Why?
Because, well, I mean...
That's too much energy. You're up for 20 hours now.
Well, I mean, there were times when we had to, like, come into work at 5 a.m. and we wouldn't be done till midnight. Like, those kind of jobs, especially during the summer when, like, the oil field stuff really hits. And,
Yeah.
like, we just have to keep going because we don't want to lose our business because, you know, that money keeps our business open and allows us to have, like, food and shelter and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, we need that money, but, yeah, he eventually got horrendous kidney stones off of it. And I had to drive him to the hospital a few times because, like, the pain was so bad for him that he was, like, doubled over and literally could not work.
Yeah, my one buddy, I won't say his name, but he would drink, like, 4 of those, the white monsters.
Oh, yeah.
Real good. Love those things. But he would drink, like, 4 of those a day or more. And then he just quit. Because he was like, I'm doing too much of this. This is awful for me. I need to stop. He got all into fitness and everything. So he stopped and he started having just horrendous panic attacks and everything. Like, actual withdrawals. Like, just sweating for no reason and stuff. Like, he had to go to the hospital, like, twice. And, like, he's good now. But, yeah, like, energy drinks can do that to you.
Yeah.
They're bad for you. That's why I generally don't drink them. I don't even remember the last time I had one, but I mean, they're good though. Like, you take a sip of one and it's just like, this is what I need.
Yeah. And I will give a shout out to the guy I was talking about. His name was Brett, and after my dad passed, like, between me and him and my mom, we were the ones who, like, kept the shop open for the 1.5 years after my dad died. Like,
Yeah.
he, like, this guy, I guess I want to talk about him a bit. Like, he is one of the best success stories that I've ever heard. Like, he used to be a massive druggie, and then he
Brett, right?
Yeah.
I think I know him. He's not an old guy. He's a younger guy,
Yeah,
right?
and-
He's older than us, I think.
Yeah,
but-
and he's I think mostly Mexican with a little native in him, like a little
yeah,
shorter
okay.
than me.
Yeah,
with
he
black
worked
hair.
at he worked at Three
Oh
Bears
yeah,
for a little
yeah,
bit.
yeah. That guy, like, he got clean and then became like one of the hardest workers that we've ever had in that shop. So
Mhm. Yeah, your mom loves him.
yeah, so shout out to that guy because you're fucking awesome.
And I love you, Mom.
Yeah, I mean everybody should. But
She's like butter.
Ed. But no, Brett was awesome. I love that guy, and I hope he's doing well. I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, I haven't. I know he's living, man, somewhere right around here because he gave me a ride to work last summer. I was walking in the rain and gave me a ride to work.
Yeah, last I knew he was.
He's a really nice guy.
Yeah, I think he was living over in that area behind the Kenai High School. I gave him a ride home a few times because part of his, I guess, probation or rehab was he didn't have a license.
Yeah.
So I would usually give him a ride home if his wife couldn't come pick him up. Yeah, cool fucking guy. Love him to death.
Yeah, good guy.
So, video games.
They exist.
Yeah, I actually completed my first ever solo run of Dark Souls 3 recently.
Oh, yeah?
I think I've been playing those games entirely wrong all these years.
Why is that?
Well, I am, at my core, a Bloodborne player. Like, that is my favorite...
Yeah, so you want to be aggressive.
Yeah, that is my favorite From Software game, like, ever.
It is the best one.
Yeah. So, usually when I make another character in, like, Dark Souls 1, 2, or 3, I'm usually thinking, like, shields? What the fuck are those? And I usually go for, like, the...
Very useful.
Yeah, I usually went for the, like, high mobility type characters or spellcasters. And just to go against everything I knew, I made a new character. I'm like, you know what? Give me the heaviest armor and the biggest shield you possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that character...
That's easy mode for the game.
Yeah, I did a paladin build, so I went heavy armor, lots of life, lots of strength to carry the big shields, and cleric miracles. And that character just shrugs off, like, everything that would have killed every single one of my other characters in, like, one shot.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with dex builds or spellcasters, but I got to the Smoldering Lake, and my heavy tanky guy, like, ate 5 of those massive ballista bolts before he had to heal. Mm-hmm. And those things just would have offed any of my other characters just instantly.
Yeah. Now, Dark Souls plays very differently... but significantly differently than Bloodborne.
Yeah.
Like, there's a much more... Because Bloodborne, it obviously encourages you to be more aggressive. Cause
yeah.
You can get back life from being aggressive.
Yeah, that and their dodge is superior in every way to Dark Souls.
Yeah, than the roll.
Yeah,
but
I mean, you can do Bloodborne style. I have before if you get one of the weapons like the twin daggers or any of the ones that have that quick step weapon art, which is basically a Bloodborne dodge. So like you can do it, and that's what I did usually. Like keep one of those in my offhand so I could just hit that button and be like just whoop, flip around behind someone. But I went and I fought the Dancer, and I actually soloed the Dancer with that character. Which is apparent, like, the Dancer is apparently one of the hardest bosses in the game next to the fucking Nameless King, which is the only boss I haven't beat with that character yet.
Yeah, I never beat him.
But I understand...
Watch Jake beat him,
yeah.
But...
I understand if you get the Dragon Slayer Great Shield, that just makes that boss fight a cakewalk, so I need, like, just a little bit more strength to be able to wield that thing, and I'm gonna go back and try it again.
Yeah, the only boss I really had trouble with in Dark Souls 3 was Pontiff.
Fuck the Pontiff. I hate that guy.
Like, I tried him like 10 times by myself and just couldn't do it. So I summoned... There's a guy right outside you can summon.
Yeah.
Summoned him and then just fucking annihilated Pontiff. But...
Yeah, summoning people, I guess, makes the boss harder. Because I think it gets more life depending on how many people you summon.
Well, it was just a NPC guy.
Yeah, which I think still counts, but, like, when I went into that fight, I'm like, I know exactly what I'm getting into, so I summoned up the Black Hand and the Dark Moon Lady, Cirrus of the Sunless Realms. If you follow her quest line, she also has a summon sign out there. And, like, despite the fact that the boss had more health, he also had somebody else to aim at instead of me, which...
That was exactly it.
Yeah, and that, like... Fuck having more health. Having the boss go after somebody else instead of you makes everything just 10 times better, in my opinion.
Yeah, because he just kept going after the other guy, so I could just wail on him.
Yeah.
He barely went after me at all. Like, I beat him in, like, a minute. It was just... It annihilated him because he was going after the other guy.
Yeah.
Instead of just... Like, because he splits up into the 3 guys.
Yep.
And, like, all the 3 guys would go after that guy that I summoned. And so I could just fucking beat the shit out of him. And then, yeah, you go out into the area where everybody duels.
Yep.
And that's where I had some trouble because... That's where I went into offline mode eventually because...
Invaders?
Yeah, people kept dropping into my game and fucking... killing me, or even if I killed them, they got my health down low enough, so if I got hit by anything, I'd die. It was, yeah. So I just went to offline mode. It's like, I want to get fucking through this.
Yeah.
Where's the next bonfire?
Yeah, I was playing offline because where I'm at now, I have shitty internet. But yeah, that dancer fight was a cakewalk with a heavy armored dude. Like, she pulled out her second sword and started doing that death spin ability, and I'm just sitting there like thinking like, well, I'm dead. And I just put my shield up and just like blocked all of it, and I'm like, oh, I'm not dead.
Yeah.
What the fuck? And then I just killed her with the I think I'm currently using the dark sword, the one that the dick wraiths have, or the dark wraiths, I guess they're called.
The dark long sword.
Or I think it's just called the dark sword. It's those guys out.
You can get through the game, and it's one of the best weapons.
Yeah.
That you can use, or at least it was. I don't know with updates and shit. It was when it came out. It was one of the best swords that you could just go through the game with that easy if you keep leveling it.
Yeah. I've got, the reason I was using the dark sword is it gets a fairly decent scaling off of strength, which is good because I have a lot of strength, so I have to carry heavy shield anyway. And then I slapped a heavy gem on it, which gives it even more scaling off of strength.
Yeah.
But yeah, that sunlight straight sword though, its weapon art is you buff your defense and attack. So like, I have health and strength, and now I have more health and strength.
Yeah.
Plus faith, which is, man, I love faith builds. I love them more than I actually love sorcerer builds, just because they're so good for survivability.
Never done one.
Well, if it's worth getting your faith up to at least 14 at the start of the game, so you can kill off those guys outside Judex Gundyr. They drop that sacred cleric chime, and its little R2 ability, you ring it and it gives you like slow health regeneration for like no mana. So like you can like, you go into a mob, you get the fuck beaten out of you, you kill them all, but you don't want to waste a flask. You can just ring that and just like sit still for 30 to 45 seconds and be back up to full health.
Oh yeah, you've mentioned that to me before.
Yeah, it's really good. I recommend doing that to everybody. And if you get it up to faith up to 18, you can purchase that spell from Cleric Bitch, the homeward spell, which is basically an infinite homeward zone. So, like, if you're in trouble and you've got a lot of souls and you don't think you can make it back to a bonfire, you just be like, bling, back to bonfire you go. Yeah, and faith ups your base stats quite a bit, like your defensive resistances and shit. It's quite good. Yeah. And I started on the DLC, and I think I met the boss that I might hate more than the Pontiff, weirdly enough. Yeah, the first boss I ran into was, I think it was actually an optional boss. I don't think you have to fight this thing, but it starts out, it's an NPC called like the Champion Grave Tender, and he's a fucking joke. Like, he's not hard at all, but when you get him down to half health, he summons a gigantic wolf, like I can't remember the wolf's name off the top of my head from Dark Souls 1, but the one you have to kill to get the ring of the Abyss
Walker. Yeah, it holds a sword in its mouth. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, he summons basically that minus the sword. And I killed off the Grave Tender because, like I said, he's a joke and you can just parry and riposte him into oblivion. It's stupid. But the wolf is like, moves really fast and almost never stops attacking. So I'm sitting there just like blocking and dodging this thing, and occasionally would score a hit on me, and it's just like, it's one of those bosses where you sit there and ask yourself, when exactly am I supposed to try and hit this thing?
Yeah.
And I finally wound up just like spending 45 minutes basically playing ring around the pillar with this thing, waiting for it to use this one attack, which has like a half-second opening where you can finally get a hit in, and just repeat the process over and over and over again. It's fucking stupid. Yeah, but I haven't gone much further in the DLC than that yet, and I have the second DLC, which I haven't even seen, because I'm not there yet. And I don't actually know where you're supposed to access it anyway. But God, that boss was annoying.
So we had a pretty fun meme at the shop the other day.
Yeah?
I was sitting down at the end of the building on the steps that are back there, reading my book, and just start hearing screaming. Like, people are just screaming and yelling at each other. And I'm thinking, like, somebody just got hit by a car or something like that. So I come running up because I think something's wrong. And there's a lady. She's standing on one of those, those yellow divider things.
Oh, yeah.
And she's just waving around, arms around, just screaming at this group of people. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I'm stood there watching, like, as far as I could tell from where I could see, like, everything was fine. Like, no one was dead, at least. There was a car just parked kind of next to her, near her, and that was a little weird, but no one was in the car, and I kind of looked around, and as far as I could see, no one was hurt. And then, so I'm just watching this, and I'm like, this is hilarious. This woman's losing her mind, and I'm just going to stand right here and smoke my cigarette and watch this. This is awesome. But, so a bunch of cops show up, we're watching, and eventually this kid and this old man, this kid he's probably like 18, and, like, he looked about 18, and he was a smaller guy, like a head shorter than me, and this older guy who was, like, my dad's size, so big guy, but, like, skinnier, kind of, and, like, more frail looking.
Yeah.
The kid, he's just got blood all in his teeth, but the older guy, he's got this giant gash down his arm.
Oh, Jesus.
And his nose is just going nuts with blood. And so I'm just sitting there watching that because I don't got to get back yet. Like, 5 cops show up, everything. They separated the people, and there was a lot of people involved. But, so I'm watching it, and there was a corporate guy there at the store that day, and he was standing there next to me watching it too, and we were both just like, this is cool. The fuck happened? Like, so, that all happened, everything transpired, and, like, Joe went out, store manager went out, and was like, hey, we've got it all on film, cops, if you want to come watch it. I don't know what they were saying, but we've got it all. Showed the cops it and whatnot. Later on, Joe grabs me and is like, come watch what actually happened. So I go up there and we're watching on the camera. Basically what happened, this car, the car the kid is driving, pulls into a parking spot. And like 2 seconds later, a truck pulls up and 2 old men, one being the big guy, like 6'2", 6'3", kind of bigger, older man, and one being just this fucking dwarf. He had a giant beard and stuff. They get out of their truck and they start just kicking and punching the dude's windows and just everything else. And so the kid gets out and he's just like, what the fuck are you doing? And the one who got the bigger, older man just punches him in the face. And so immediately I'm intrigued. And then the kid just fucking mops the floor with this guy. Just starts beating the shit out of him. Like, he just got punched in the face. And, like, the kid clearly didn't even know what was happening. Apparently, those old guys thought that he cut them off. But from the video, like, no, he just pulled into a parking spot. So, eventually, the kid's, like, whipping his ass. And the dude, like, grabs him by the shirt and, like, brings him close. And then the kid's girlfriend comes around and she's got an ice scraper, like, for her car window.
Yeah. And
she just starts wailing on him, and that's how he got the big cut on his arm. She just starts wailing on him. Eventually it gets broken up, and yeah, that's where I walked up. Is like the older dude's wives came out. One of them got on the thing in the middle, and it was ridiculous, but also very entertaining. So
I never understood why
nobody got arrested though. I think both of them decided just not to press charges. Yeah. I think. But anyways, go on.
I never understood why people get like so upset about that. Like I've seen that same kind of thing in Anchorage before, and like someone will park somewhere where someone else was like trying to get in the spot, and then they would like start yelling and screaming at each other. It's like, you have like the entire fucking parking lot to park in. Mm-hmm. What's the big deal with this one spot other than being like maybe 20 seconds less of a walk into the store?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I've even seen, like, my mom and dad get pissed off about things like that, but I can understand because, you know, they're old and they don't want to walk as far, but it's like,
I can understand getting annoyed with it.
Yeah, like, it is a dick move to, like, if you're slowly and carefully turning in to, like, get a parking spot and someone just, like, zips in and takes it from you, it's like, okay, I can see that being mildly upsetting. It's happened to me before, like in the drive-thru for McDonald's. People are like, "Oh, I gotta get in first." It's like, your order's gonna take like 30 seconds more to happen unless you're ordering like 15 fucking cheeseburgers. But it's like
it's like whenever stuff like that has happened to me, I'll be calling the dude a piece of shit, but I'll be doing it in my car. Like, I'm not going to be screaming at the guy. I'll just be like, that fucking piece of shit, motherfucker. And, like, I'm not going to, like, stop and roll down my window and be like, hey, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
This is definitely, a parking spot is definitely worth maybe going to jail.
Yeah, it's not, though. It's stupid.
Yeah. It's a silly thing.
And it's like the same, like, cutting people off in traffic. It's like, so what? Your drive is going to take, like, a few minutes more just because this guy pulled out in front of you on the freeway or some shit like that.
Yeah.
It's not worth getting arrested for.
No. It's not even worth the altercation. It's just, like, yeah, like I said, I understand getting pissed off about it, but actually, like, confronting the person and, like, getting into a fight, like, do you really even have time for that?
Yeah.
Fuck that. Just fucking sit in your car and be like, this fucking son of a bitch, god damn it. And then continue with your day.
Yeah, it's like people who play online multiplayer video games that get ridiculously enraged and upset that somebody killed them in a game where the whole
objective
point is to kill the other person. It's like, so you were a few seconds slow targeting this guy and shooting him, and then you spew all kinds of, like, hatred and rage all over the microphone channel. It's one of the reasons I stopped playing League of Legends. Like, I don't hate the game. I actually really enjoy, like, Dota-style games. They're fun. But when people are like, you fucking suck, and now our team score's going down because you didn't get the kill that you should have, blah, 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 blah. It's like, it's a fucking game, dude.
Yeah.
Why are you so upset? Isn't this what you're here for, is to play the game? And naturally, you're going to lose occasionally.
Yeah. That's another one where I understand people getting mad. And I've definitely, like, raged at some people before in, like, Halo and stuff, where it's like, come on, man, you got one kill and you've died 14 times. Like, just hide somewhere. Like, quit trying to go out there. Like, you're gonna make us lose. But that's really, like, I don't know. I've raged over it and I've also laughed at it. So it kind of just depends on my mood, where I'm like, you fucking son of a bitch, we're gonna get so much more experience if we fucking win, and you're sitting there at 1 kill and 14 deaths. Fuck off. Normally the rage increases the closer I get to leveling up.
Yeah.
Because I'll be like, man, I'm right there. If we win this match and I do well, I'm gonna level up this turn, and then I'll be able to buy some new shit. It'll be dope. And you're sitting there, you've died 21 times. You fucking piece of shit. Like, that's where I'll get mad. But otherwise, I'll just be like, you died 21 times? Are you even playing? Like, it's more just give them shit most of the time. But,
like, when I played League of Legends, like, I knew I was a shit player, and like
what a toxic community.
I know, like I know I'm shit, which is why I pretty much exclusively played support characters in that game. Like my favorite one to play was Sona, and her whole thing is about like buffing your teammates and shit like that. So I would just be like, yeah, I'm gonna follow this guy around and just like, you know, stay behind him and buff him up, and then like that guy would die, and then I'd be out there all by myself, and I'd be like, well, I'll try to run, but I'm pretty sure this Warwick is just gonna chase me down and maul my face off. And
try to get behind the pillar.
Yeah, it's like, and that's usually what would happen because Sona's not a very fast character, whereas Warwick is all about rushing up on people and killing them. And then like my own teammates would get pissed off at me to be like, "Why didn't you run? What the fuck were you doing?" And I'm like, "Dude, do you see the character I'm playing? The guy who was supposed to do the fighting for me died, and I was out there by myself. What do you actually expect me to do?"
It's awful. Like, you know, we used to play a lot of StarCraft and like Dota and shit. Man, when I tried getting into Dota 2, what a fucking horrible community they have.
Yeah.
Like, I trained a little bit with the character I wanted to use offline, and then I went online, and like I was doing fine. Like, I wasn't awful, but if I died, everybody in the chat was like, "We're gonna report you. We're gonna ban you. Like, you're a piece of shit. You suck." It's like, you guys have died more than me. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, it was just Dota 2's community is the fucking worst. You want to talk about a toxic community? Dota 2, that's the worst.
Yeah.
Like, League of Legends, sure, but it's also like the most played game in the world ever. So, you know, you get lumped in with some people who are like, you're a piece of shit, you suck. But you also get with people who you're like, man, you're a piece of shit, you suck. So it's...
Yeah.
But you don't say that because you're not a piece of shit like the other people. But it's a bit of an annoyance.
Yeah. The Dark Souls community is split right down the middle on things like that. I was playing with Ulrich.
You never really team up with people too much in Dark Souls.
Not really, but it's the invaders that get pissed off at you.
Yeah.
Like, I was playing with Ulrich, I think sometime early last year, and we were going into, we'd actually just gotten past the Pontiff, and we were in that area, and a guy invaded us. Yeah, the guy invaded us, and we just massacred his ass. Ulrich was playing a tank with a giant greatsword, and I was playing the wizard, and so he'd, like, run up on the guy and get him stun-locked, and I'd just, like, blast him with a fucking giant crystal soul spear, and he sent Ulrich a message. He's like, "Oh god, you're such a fucking piece of shit, bodyguarding the sorcerer like that," and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And we just kind of look at each other and we're like, what was this guy actually expecting to happen? If he's invading people, he should understand the fact that he's going to lose occasionally.
Yeah.
And he came up against like the worst combination of people he possibly could have gotten into. But on the other end of the spectrum, when I was playing by myself and I was doing my squishy Dex whip wielder character, I got into the Farron Keep, which is, if you don't play Dark Souls, it's just poison everywhere. And like a guy invaded me, and I'd just taken down those 3 gigantic tree wielding motherfuckers, and I was out of Estus Flask. I was down to like a quarter life, and he like walked up to me, and I'm pretty sure this guy was cosplaying Guts from the Berserk series.
Yeah.
And he just like looked at me, and then he dropped a bunch of items, and then waved and separated himself out of my world, and I like walked up and picked up what he dropped, and it was like a stack of like 99 like purple moss clumps, and I'm like, that was actually kind of fucking nice. Thanks, man.
And my favorite thing, it's kind of a more nowadays it's a more, I guess, common insult, or like it's known, but I was playing Halo 3 over at Dilly Bear's house, and I was picking on this guy. Like, he was talking shit in the chat beforehand, And I was like, well, we'll see what he does. And I just annihilated him. Like, I killed him like 24 times. And, like, I ended up with like 35 kills in the match. And, yeah, most of them were him. And he sent me a message he was obviously pissed. And it was just like, why don't you go fuck your mom, you cum dumpster? And I had never heard cum dumpster before. And Dylan hadn't either. And we both just we just died. We were laughing so fucking hard. Like, go fuck your mom, you cum dumpster. It was hilarious. It's one of my favorite online gaming things that have ever happened to me. Just go fuck your mom, you cum dumpster. Which, I mean, he wasn't entirely wrong. I am a dumpster for cum. Like, put it in me.
Yeah.
But fuck my mom.
Nah.
That's a bit too far.
Yeah, I had that same kind of experience playing League of Legends. There was a guy on the other team, and, like, I could tell he had no fucking clue what he was doing. Like, he was playing, I think, what's classified as an assassin character, and he kept, like, throwing himself into my lane. And I was playing Sona again, and this guy was so bad, I guess, or just so new that he didn't understand how items work in that game. Like, you know, there's a certain set of items you gotta go for to make your character what you want it to be. And I was one-shotting him as a support character, so I was just, like, standing just slightly within range of the tower, just waiting for him to come back, and I, like, see him approach, and then he just stops and, like, looks at me. So I, like, get his name, open up a little private message channel to him, and I'm like, dude, are you okay? Like, are you new? And he's like, yeah, I'm really new. This is like my third game ever. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm shit at this game, so what do you say we both just chill up here in the top lane and just leave each other alone? So I sat within range of my tower, and he sat outside of my maximum range, and we just started just chatting with each other, and, like, occasionally someone else would run up and be like, oh shit, dude, hold on, I gotta back up a bit. And the guy would come after me and get repelled by my tower, and then he would leave, and then I'd take my spot back and keep chatting with the guy, and then, like, in the last 5 minutes of the game, like, everybody just started rushing the top, and this guy's like, I'm so sorry, I told him not to come up here. Like, we were just leaving each other alone, and nothing important's happening up here. And I think I eventually friended the guy, and we wound up on the same team together, and I taught him a bit, and it was fun. Just when people are nice enough to acknowledge that they're shit to each other and then kind of bond over that fact, it's a really weird yet satisfying gaming thing that can happen when you make friends over something ridiculous like that.
Oh yeah, it's still sad to this day because I have so many friends on my Xbox Live account that, like, that I used to play, like, Halo 3, Halo Reach with, that I'd play with them every day, and now I haven't talked to them in years, and I see, like, last online 3 years ago. It's just like, aw.
Yeah.
Did you die? What happened to you?
Yeah, the best one that ever happened to me was when I was really serious into Street Fighter 4 when it came out, and I was playing, like, online ranked matches, and I was playing Cody, and this other guy was playing Vega, and he just started doing a whole bunch of crazy shit that I'd never seen anybody do with Vega. And I'm like, I sent him a message, like, I was honestly impressed. I'm like, dude, you're fucking awesome at this game. And he's like, oh, thanks, man. I mean, I can show you some stuff if you want to hop on headset. And I probably lost about 5 or 6 hours just training with this guy that I'd never met in person. And then I think he's still on my friends list, and he's another one of those people who are, like, offline 5 years. And I'm like, man, I miss that guy. We had a lot of fun together.
Yeah, I had certain groups of people I played with all the time. Like, Halo was the big one.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's a little bit sad, because we used to have some goofs and some gaffs and laughs, little, on occasion, a romp or a riot. And, you know, it's sad I never do that anymore. Like, playing, like, Halo 4 is when people started just, nobody had mics. And that just made it not as fun. Like, nobody was talking shit to each other. Nobody was, like, because most of the people that I ended up friending and playing with were people that I played against and talked shit with, and we made each other laugh beforehand, like before the game started, and then they'd add me as a friend or invite me to their party or vice versa, and yeah, it was sad. And then Halo 5, it's a shit game, really.
Yeah.
But nobody ever has a mic on there. Like, I don't even have it installed anymore. And even the Master Chief Collection, nobody ever has a mic. It fucking sucks, because the most fun I ever had with like video games and stuff was mainly like Halo 3 and Halo Reach, where like Halo Reach, when we were living in that house over on 4th,
yeah,
like me and Tommy and Zay, we were playing every single night and just talking shit to people, playing with people that we'd met. Like, it was a fucking blast. And now nobody has a mic ever, and it kind of just takes away from the experience.
Yeah, like, I want to say that same thing about Call of Duty, but that's also a real toxic community. Like, there are a few gyms. Like, when I was living down in Montana, I think we played Modern Warfare 3 or 2. I can't remember which one, but I met this guy online, and we were both very into the sniper play style at the time. So, like, we'd both be hiding out and
just gotta hit them in the foot and they'll die.
And just like picking off members of each other's team, and we got into a contest seeing how many kills we could like one up the other guy with, and it became this weird like antagonistic friendship. Like, we would keep jumping into games on opposite teams, and the whole thing just became like a ridiculous sniper duel. Like, we stopped killing members of the other team and started trying to kill each other.
Yeah.
And at the end of it all, like in the last 4 matches, we were like, you know what? Like, this is fun. And we started like trading sniper spots with each other and be like, hey man, if you go over to like this spot on this map, you get a good overview and you could probably hit me from there. And we actually like started trying to get the other one to find good spots to kill each other with.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun shit. But one last thing I wanted to talk about. I watched a movie on Netflix recently called The Titan, which I would recommend you watch it. It's a really cool movie about humanity fucked the planet, and now they have to move to a new planet. And the whole thing is about genetically engineering people to survive on Titan, which is one of Saturn's moons. Like, honestly, the movie does not break any new ground. Like, it's man gets turned into monster, and then they like try to capture or kill the monster. He starts killing all the other people and shit like that. You know, one of those types of movies. But it raised an interesting question, which I've been kind of wrestling with for many, many years. At what point do we as people stop considering a person, if that makes any sense? Like,
I get what you're saying.
Like, a good example of that would be like Tusk or Human Centipede. I think it was when we watched
Tusk.
I think it was when we watched it with Kenneth, actually. Like, once they were turned into the centipede, he stopped referring to them as like their character names and started referring to them as the Pede.
Yeah. Proper Pede.
Yeah. And like, when the doctor went upstairs, like, these words stuck in my head for years, like, oh man, you know, that doctor, he really should have sedated the Pede. And I'm like, I look at him, I'm like,
Pede.
yeah, it's like, it's weird. It's like, at what level of evolution or de-evolution or mutilation do we stop thinking of a person as a person?
Yeah.
Like, fucking, like in Tusk, when he got turned into the walrus, like, I personally
He had to go full walrus.
Yeah, he went full walrus, and like, at that point, I stopped thinking of him as, you know, a guy played by Justin Long and started thinking of him as something other than a human. And it's an interesting conundrum, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I wonder, like, where do you personally draw that line, I suppose?
I don't even know. It's not something that's ever come up in my life.
Yeah,
so
it's not something you would have a conversation with somebody at the bar about, but
it's just, yeah, I'd have to be faced with it before I'd be like, okay, that's not a human. Like a zombie. Like, I guess a zombie, you don't really think of them as human.
yeah.
Like, I think that's the most I could even reference as, because I've come across several zombies.
Yeah.
No. because I don't know what else. Like, yeah, the peed and going full walrus. Like, even Justin Long in that, I'd still think him as a person in that. And with the peed, I'd still think of them as people.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely, I'd be like, oh, these are people. Give me the fucking fucking clippers. Let me get them out of here.
Yeah.
Like, let's help them. Like, these are humans. They need help.
Like, I almost think it's more of almost a subconscious thing. Like, at the end of the Titan, it got to the point where the two main characters that survived the transformation process, they stopped communicating with, like, words. Like, they communicated through, like, ultra-low frequency and, I guess, like, touching and stuff like that. So, the main guy, Rick, who was played by Sam Worthington of Avatar fame, like, at that point, when he could no longer communicate as a human, was when I started really having trouble, like, seeing him as, like, a person. Like, I knew consciously, like, he was still in there. He still thinks like a human. He still acts like a human. Like, he, puts his clothes on, whatever, but he no longer is able to, like, communicate with his wife and kid like a normal person would, and it was...
Yeah.
It was weird. Like, I think that... I want to say communication is where I draw the line. Like, the Pede could no longer communicate because the front part was a Japanese guy and didn't speak English. And, like, obviously, Justin Long in full walrus form no longer could speak as a person.
Fucking full walrus.
God, that fucking movie, man. That Tusk got me, man. Like,
it's horrifying.
Yeah.
But it's also just fucking hilarious at the same time. So it's just this weird mix of emotions.
Yeah.
Where it's like this, like when he cuts his legs off and stuff. It's like, oh, that's fucked.
Yeah.
And then, but when the dude gets in the walrus suit and he's like trying to make him go full walrus and everything. Because, a walrus saved him, right? And then he had to kill the walrus.
I think so, yeah.
To eat it, to live.
Yeah.
And it was, like, so, oh, man.
Yeah, the thing...
It's a weird movie, but I fucking love it.
Yeah, like, the thing that made me hate the movie at the end was, like, yeah...
When he's in that little pen.
Yeah, it's like, okay, this is modern times.
He's got a little kiddie pool.
Yeah. It's like, this is modern times. We have medical technology. Like, you probably couldn't fix him all the way. Like, his legs are gone. There's not much you can do about that. And I guess...
But you could still mostly fix him.
Yeah, like, you could at least get him out of the walrus suit and take the bones out of his face.
Right, you could unstitch that shit.
Yeah. But it's like, they fucking left him in there?
Well, he'd gone full walrus.
Yeah, like...
even if you did that, he'd still be a walrus.
Yeah, he'd still be fucked mentally, but, like, put him in, like, a medical facility or even an insane asylum.
He was happy. They threw him a fish.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I don't know, like, if I were Johnny Depp in that scene and I came across him after he just killed that guy, I would have taken that shotgun and just blown his fucking brains out at that point.
It would probably have been a kindness.
Yeah, like, don't let him suffer anymore.
And... just finished the 7th book in the Sword of Truth series on the 8th, but there's a point where one of the main characters in that book, like a woman is impaled. There's shit going on. A woman is impaled and like stuck to a wall through like a piece of wood, and she's like, "Please help me," and he just takes out his axe and cuts her head off, and the main character in the book is just, like, appalled by that. And he's like, hey, there was no helping her. Like, if it were you, I'd do the same thing. Like, she was dead. That's basically what had happened to her. So, I just ended it. That was the most help I could give her.
Yeah, that same kind of thing happened in the...
But at the same time...
Yeah.
With Tusk, he was happy. He's happy being a walrus. Why not let him walrus?
I guess.
Like, you don't gotta kill him. Like, I'd be horrified if I walked into a room and saw that. I'd just close the door and leave. But I mean, I'd tell somebody and they could deal with it.
Yeah.
But like, however they chose. But I wouldn't do anything about it. I'd just be like, nope,
I'm not dealing with
the fuck out of
fucking
here.
situation. Yeah, that same kind of thing happened in the Ministry of Peculiar Occurrences series. Like, the plot of the second book was that people are disappearing because they were getting teleported and taken hostage. And at one point, the teleportation fucks up, and this girl, like, rematerializes, like, inside of an iron fence. So she has, like, bars going through her arms and, like, the side of her face.
Kind of like, what's that Netflix movie we talked about? With Mundy.
Oh, yeah, fucking Cloverfield Paradox.
Yeah, where the bitch shows up and she's just got, like, the pipes through her and
yeah,
shit.
And it's like, at that point, and it's like, you know, like, and this is, like, Victorian London with, like, they're just getting into steam technology at this point, so, like, there's no helping this girl, but everyone's like, oh my god, we gotta help her, and, like, one of the main characters, like, recognizes the fact that, like, there's no helping this woman, she's dead. Yeah. And she, like, considers...
And she's in awful pain.
Yeah, like... she considers pulling out a gun and shooting her, but because plot relevance, like, this girl's, like, dying words help them solve the mystery, but it's like, you really should have just fucking put a bullet in her head at that point.
Yeah, that's what I'd want.
Like, there's no helping her.
If I just teleported and materialized with fucking bars going through me everywhere...
Yeah, it's just...
I'd just be like, kill me.
Yep.
Kill me. Like, just... do it.
I'm done. We don't want to. I don't want to deal with this anymore.
Yeah, there's no saving me at this point. Just put me out of my agony.
Yeah, it annoys me how often that happens in movies. Like, they come across a situation like that and there's no obvious help, and they're like, yeah, we should just kill her. And they're like, no, you can't do that. I'm like, the fuck else are you gonna do, man?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, this person has been bit by a zombie and there's no cure, and they're going to turn in however long it takes, and that
depending on the movie.
Yeah, like Sean's mom, when he had to put her down, it's like yeah, that's fine, but once she died, I would have, you know, offed her before she came back. But at the same time, it's Sean's mom, and David was a dick and can't really do anything about it.
It was a whole thing.
But like, if it's
like Dawn of the Dead, they did it right in the newer one.
Yeah,
like where the dude was bit and they locked Ving Rhames and him in a room. Yeah. And you know, as soon as he died, Ving Rhames offed him.
Yeah.
It was just, you know, they did it right there. Yeah. It was like, yeah, he's got to go. Like, he's gonna turn. Let's take care of this issue, and they did. Yeah. It's good.
And it's like
they learned from the giant fat woman who was actually a man.
Yeah, a man in a fat suit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, she came back, and they even did it right with, like, the morality of the choice. Like, you know, Tucker might be bit. Should we off him? And it's like, yeah, no, you shouldn't, because he might not actually be bit. And even if he is, there's time to...
What did he say?
It's like, I'm not bit, or something like that. Like, I don't remember. It's been a long time since I saw that movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a shitty choice that was definitely done right in that movie. Like, hey, there it is.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, like, you don't know, but at least there's enough signs. But if it's like a situation of, like, he's bit and he's going to turn within, like, the next fucking 30 seconds, like, that would be...
Yeah, because they turned quick in that movie.
Yeah, like, I think, like, they never actually turned while they were still alive. Like, they died first and then came back. But if there's no transition period...
Well, what's his name? The dickhead with the boat. He, well, I guess they didn't show it.
Yeah.
He might have died. I don't know. They don't show it, so it's unclear. But
like, he does come back, and somebody else shoots him, like, in the last 10 minutes of the movie or something, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's her name shoots him because he'd been being a dick the whole time, and he was like, if I ever turn into one of those things, fucking shoot me in the head. And she was like, I'll be glad to. And then he turns and she
alright.
shoots him.
Yeah, no, that's tough choice to make if it were real life, especially without all the facts.
Yeah. But I mean, if you were sprinting at me looking zombie-like.
Yeah.
And also there were other zombies around, so I knew, oh, Andy's a zombie.
Yeah.
Like, I'd shoot you.
It would suck, but...
Yeah, I wouldn't be happy about it, but, you know. So let's end the podcast on that. We'd shoot each other.
Yeah, if we became zombies, because I think we're out
No,
of
we'd just shoot each other.
Yeah, I suppose.
We seem like we're friends, but we actually hate each other and would gladly put a bullet in each other's heads.
Yeah. simultaneously. Just, we're both done. Let's check out at the same time.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, God. Was that a Columbine reference? I think it was. I mean,
No.
I don't know. But, man, I mean, let's talk about that for a second. All these mass shootings that are going on, since I guess we're ending on a morbid note anyway.
Yeah, it's been pretty morbid for a bit now.
Yeah, there was, it shows how much of a shitbag that I am. Like, that guy who shot, 500 people from a hotel while there's, a concert going on outside.
I don't think it was 500.
Or, I guess 500 wounded, I think, or something like that. Not necessarily.
Was it really that many?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't have all the facts. They weren't probably all gunshot wounds, but when it started going off, I imagine a few people got, trampled or knocked over or something. People trying to clear the area. But, I heard about that, and I guess I'm just such a callous bastard. It was a country western concert, and I'm like, well, did he get the band? And my wife's like, no. And I'm like, fucked up his job, didn't he?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
what was he doing then?
Yeah, and then I instantly felt bad about that, but...
As you should, but yeah. I mean, really.
But yeah, there's been a lot of mass shootings going. It sucks. My wife was reading a book about the Sandy Hook thing, and she was reading it out loud because we read books to each other, and her mom was like, "Yeah, you should read this book," and I'm just sitting there just hating this book the entire. It's like, I don't want to hear about this shit. It sucks. It's stupid. Why are we reading about it? But yeah, fuck America, man. Just fucking America. All the gun control laws, which are probably never going to get passed anyway.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, gun control is a subject.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it. Obviously, level-headed people, or at least level-headed enough, like you.
Yeah.
Sure, have guns. I don't give a fuck. But there's also the point where it's like, man, if nobody could have guns, these terrible things wouldn't be happening, or they would probably be lessened.
Yeah.
It's a conundrum to me. I don't know. I don't care. The moment I get shot with a gun, I'm gonna be like, they should have banned guns.
Yeah.
But that's gonna be it.
I do agree that I don't think normal run-of-the-mill civilians need assault weapons full auto rifles.
Full auto they don't even sell, do they?
I think you have to have a certain level of permit for it.
Because I know semi they'll just sell.
But... Yeah, but I get not needing. I don't need a fully automatic M16 or whatever. I don't. If I'm picking out a gun, it's because I live in barren moose-infested country, and I want a bullet that can shoot through a car if I really have to.
Yeah.
I'm if I go on a mass shooting with my hand cannon, I've got 5 shots before I have to sit there and eject all the spent shells and then shove 5 more. And it's I'm gonna kill 5 people at most, I imagine, before I get gunned down by the cops. That's fine. Low capacity, high power weapons, I have no problem with. But what do you need a military grade M249 heavy machine gun with a 200 round belt magazine if you're just a normal person? What the fuck are you gonna do?
I don't know. I think it makes people feel big.
I mean,
it makes them feel like, no, I'm a big man. But I don't know. I like assault weapons and stuff like that. I don't think people need to own.
Yeah.
You can own a shotgun, and if somebody comes into your house, then bada bing, bada boom, they're gone. And then maybe you could have, at firing ranges and stuff, you could rent weapons like that, if you want to shoot them. I get that it's just some people's thing. I think there are definitely just people who just want to own the guns because they're, in defiance. They're like, it's my right to bear arms, so I bought this fucking AR-15. And that's the only reason they do it, basically.
Yeah.
Maybe they like shooting guns, but
yeah, I mean,
they more like to post it on social media and be like, look what I got.
I don't know.
Are you mad, liberals? It's just fuck off.
Yeah, at that point, I'll just post a picture of me with my hand cannon and with the caption just, I have the biggest dick ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
the size of my dick is larger because of the size of my gun.
Yeah, because I can shoot this gun one-handed, I have balls the size of a Death Star. And I guess there's the people like, well, what if you run into a bear out in the woods? You need lots of ammo, don't you? Well,
Not really.
in answer to that, if that bear takes all 5 shots from my hand cannon, clearly that thing is possessed by a demon and it's going to kill me anyway.
If it takes all 5 shots, and still eats you, it deserved the meal.
Yeah. Like that hand cannon doesn't fuck around. The exit wound it put in a tree stump was the size of a goddamn dinner plate. Like,
really, most bears and stuff, if you were to shoot them with a .22, they're gonna take off. Like, they're gonna be like, oh fuck, that hurt. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Like, unless they're fucking starving, they're like, you can shoot them with a fucking 9mm pistol, and they'll be like, "Yep, nope, I'm out."
Fuck this noise.
Yeah, I don't need any of this. You could probably even just shoot it in the air, and they're gonna be like, "What the fuck was that?" And they're gonna leave.
Yeah, the only way they'd fuck with you at that point is if, like, you're near their cubs, and like, hey,
yeah.
Are you threatening my shit? I'm gonna fuck you up.
If their cubs are involved, that's a different story.
Yeah.
But still, even with cubs involved, like, you pepper them with a shotgun or something, they're most likely not gonna fuck with you.
Yeah.
And, like...
Unless they're, like, the Teddy Roosevelt of bears who just doesn't give a shit about your tiny little projectiles.
Yeah.
But in that case, that bear has bigger balls than you, and you should be the one running.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's...
Bears are... They're scary, like, this time of year, where they're waking up.
Waking up, and they're all hungry and shit, and...
Yeah.
Getting shit for their cubs, like...
Because that's when they'll go after a human. Like, when they're waking up, or before they go to sleep. Before hibernation, or after hibernation. Because there was that one guy, that one fucking idiot, who, he was, like, up in Kodiak or wherever, and, like, him and his girlfriend got eaten by the bears, because he was like, there's all these bears, and there's all these pictures of him with them, but he was up there, he stayed up there until like October or something, because he hadn't seen the bear that he wanted to see, and then that bear fucking ate him, because it was before hibernation.
Yep.
It's like, you're food to him now, or her, I think it was a girl bear, because I know they got the bear, and they found the remains inside, and it's just like, that... Like, come on, if you're supposed to be some kind of bear expert, you know that they're trying to, like, bulk up before they go and hibernate. What the fuck are you doing, you fucking idiot?
Yeah.
Like, not to say... Because apparently I haven't ever listened to it because it's just sounds too gruesome, but there is an audio track of him just screaming while the bear's just eating him alive, and that's... fucking awful. Like, I don't want to listen to that. Like, but, maybe don't be an idiot. Don't stay there that long.
Yeah.
Like, September, you're pushing it. Like,
I do actually have a great secondhand story about a legendary bear that lives somewhere around here, actually. It's, this secondhand story comes from my friend Ulrich when he was
Bear Grylls?
All tougher than Bear Grylls at this point, which is
that's not possible.
I don't know. Like, him and his dad were out hunting, and they found this bear, and they went in for the kill shot and didn't land it, and they wound up tracking this bear for, I think he said, like 4 hours or something like that, just following this bear's blood trail. And then finally, like, the trail petered out because the bear stopped bleeding, and they're like, oh well, shit, it's probably dead, and it's getting dark, so we don't want to keep hunting this thing. So they did the smart thing and came down off of whatever hill or mountain they were on. And, like, just as the sun was going down, they turned and they looked back, and that bear that they shot was just up on the mountain, just chilling on this rock, like, staring them down, like, come at me, bro. And they were just like, oh, you know what? We should get the fuck away from this area in case it comes after us during the night.
Yeah.
But, man, that bear has the Death Star sized balls to just stare these people down, because Ulrich's a big dude, and his dad, I've met him.
It doesn't matter how big a dude is. A bear will kill him.
Yeah, no, but...
You take a black bear, they're not even that big. They'll kill.
Yeah.
A fucking panda will kill the biggest man in the world.
Yeah, but, you know, like, him and his dad, like, I wouldn't want to fuck with either of them, and this bear was just like, what? You've got a hunting rifle? I'm fucking bulletproof. Bring it on. And I'd be like, yep, no, I'm hightailing it out of this fucking area. And, just... I guess to end it off, maybe, there's this book series I think I've talked about called Monster Hunter International. And the most recent book, they
mentioned that.
Yeah, they go to this training camp, which is in Alaska, and they nailed the feel of Alaska. Like, the main character, Owen, was working out, he was out on a jog, and he came across a moose. And because Owen is the
Dark Souls of horses.
Yeah, the Dark Souls of horses. And because Owen's a big-ass, badass professional monster hunter, he's running with, like, all of his combat gear on to, you know, train and shit. And this moose is just standing in the middle of his jogging trail, and he, like, starts to go for his rifle because he's heard stories about how mooses trample people. And the moose just looks at him in such a way that the look says, fuck you, I'm a moose. And Owen's just like, you know, I'm not gonna fuck with it. I'm gonna turn around and go the other way. Because moose don't give a shit.
No, they do not.
Yeah, fucking Alaska. Greatest place in the world, in my opinion.
It's, I mean, it's probably not the greatest place, really.
No,
I'm sure we could find other places that are better. Yeah. But I like it here.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. Like, my wife was telling me the other day, since she's baby obsessed, and I was like, you know, if we, like, move to the Netherlands or Sweden, they basically pay for us to have the baby. And I'm like, well, A, we don't have the money to move to Sweden or the Netherlands, and B, fuck those places. I like Alaska.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind moving except for the fact that, like, moving to a different country, except for the fact that all my friends are here.
Yeah.
So it's just, and I probably won't, like, I could learn a language.
Yeah.
But, you know, all my friends are here. Yeah. I don't want to leave everyone.
And not to sound too American, but personally, I'm proud to live in Alaska. Like,
I like Alaska.
Yeah, I think... In a weird way, it takes
an Alaskan flag up on the wall there.
Yeah, I think it takes a certain breed of people to actually, like, live in Alaska. Like, I mean, at least in the area where me and you live, which is, like, 90% wilderness, you know, and stuff. Like, I live way out in the middle of fucking nowhere. And, like, a lot of people wouldn't just because they don't want to live out in the middle of fucking nowhere. But, you know, I've had survival training. I know how to, like, read the land and shit like that. And, like... Not everyone knows how to do that, and that's a skill set.
I can make a fire.
Yeah. I mean, I lived in the woods for 3 days with just a knife just to see if I fucking could, and I did. I ate a squirrel. It was not very tasty, because squirrels are tiny and have, like, no meat on them. Yeah. But, like, I set a trap, I built a fire to cook it on, and, you know, how many other normal-ass Americans can say they've done that shit before?
Yeah, when I was in Oregon, when I was there for college, we were going to smoke some weed, and we were walking along the road, and we were like, man, where can we smoke? And I just, like, stepped down off the road out into the woods, and I was like, come on, we can just smoke in these woods. And they were like, all right, wilderness man, we're not coming down there. What the fuck are you talking about? I was like, we can literally just walk over here, and we'll be concealed by trees, and we can smoke there. Like, it's fine. And they were like, no, we're not doing that. We ended up walking. They wouldn't come down off the roads into the woods. It's not like it was wet woods or anything. It hadn't rained. It was a nice day. It's not like it was super, like, I don't know, tangled brush type trees.
Yeah.
It was just, like, we can walk for, like, 2 minutes in this direction, and we can just smoke there. And, yeah, they like, made fun of me for it. And they all called me Otter. And it was just like, why can't we just, like, we could just do that and then head back. Yeah. But instead we walked for like an hour to get to this other dude's house to smoke. And it was like, we could have just done it right there.
Yeah, when I was in Montana, like, I was hanging out with my sister and some of her friends, and they literally got lost in a mall. And I'm like, have you just not evolved a sense of direction?
Yeah.
It's like, I know which way the fucking doors are. If we keep going that way, we'll be outside in, like, 5 minutes. You people wouldn't last 5 minutes in Alaska. This is... What the fuck?
Yeah, I remember Do you remember at the top of the hill down our road, up where that like lighthouse-looking house is?
Yeah.
I think you might have came with me a time or two when I went up there to smoke.
Yeah.
And me and Brando, we parked up there one day, and we were like, we're going to the ocean. And it was through this fucking bramble and swamp and everything, and we just walked all the way through it. It was a bit of a pain in the ass, but we got to the ocean, and we were like, we did it. Now we gotta fucking walk back. That was more of a pain in the ass but it took like probably 8 hours round trip, and we just did it. It was fun. Like, there was Devil's Club everywhere, and it was just swamplands. We were soaked by the time we got back, but it was a fucking blast. Like, I don't know. In my experience with people who don't live here, they don't want to do that kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I usually don't want to, like, during winter months, because it's dark and
of course
wet.
not in winter,
But, yeah, like, when I've had friends come up from the lower 48 to, like, hang out with, you know, their family that lives up here, and, like, it's amazing how much of their, like, Alaskanness that they can just lose, like, living in a city.
Yeah.
Like, I never really got lost when I lived in Billings. Like, I don't navigate by road names. I navigate by landmarks because I live in fucking Alaska.
Yeah.
But, like, I always maintained that sense of direction. Like, no matter where I wound up in the city, I always knew which direction I needed to go to get back to the house I was living in.
Yeah. Like, I'm not even sure if this is north or south road that we live on. Like, I'm always like, is it north or south? I know the street we live on, but that's kind of it.
Yeah.
Like, I just know where I need to go.
Yeah, like,
I don't know.
I don't know, if you
It's
get on...
not like it's that insane, but,
No, but,
you know.
like, if you know where you are in Kenai, and, like, you know how to get to the road, like, the long, straight road that leads out to Nikiski, that is heading north. That's all the navigation you really know. Like, I can figure out, sitting in this room, just by memory of how we get here to get to that road, and, yeah, that's north. Like, it's not a hard thing to do. It was harder for me in Billings because, you know, I don't know the map of Billings very well, so I couldn't identify north, but living here in Nikiski, I could tell you exactly which way is north. And you'd be amazed how many people just don't know what way north is. Like, if you showed me a map of Billings while I'm in Billings, I could chart out the road and figure out, like, you know, all right, top of the map is north, so this street heads toward the top of the map, that's north.
Yeah.
No, it's fucking people, man. No survival instincts anymore. We've lost that evolutionary-ness that we had from our caveman times or Noah's Ark times or whatever the fuck you believe. History of the world, I don't know.
Well, I think that's going to do it for the steak and mashed potatoes podcast now?
I don't know. We can keep calling it. Well, we'll call it steak and potatoes when it's just me and you, but if we ever get Jimbo Slice back on the show, it'll become the mashed potatoes and gravy podcast again.
He is the gravy.
He is just the greatest gravy.
Our gravy baby.
Yep.
All right. Well, I guess we will see you next week. Same time, same place.
Yep.
Yeah.
Learn which way north is, you fucks. I mean, all 10 of my subscribers are Alaskans anyway, so they probably know north, but if you stumbled across this podcast looking for something else and you don't know which way is north, figure it out. Look at a map. It's not that hard.
Yeah, a compass.
Compass is also good, although they don't work as well as they used to with all the electromagnetic interference around.
Yeah.
Which sucks, because I like compasses. But yeah, we're going to go now. We got housework to do.
Yeah, we got things and stuff.
Yep, so thank you for listening. Like, subscribe, and comment. Do all that shit, and we will see you next time.
We'll see you in your dreams.
Hopefully.